Me, we're live. Are we live? Are we live? Yes. Welcome. 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 So that's it. We're doing the damn thing. Get everybody logged in. Greetings, GCPR. Greetings. Let's see if we get the multi-stream chat going. Yeah. I never know. I never know what this is going to turn out to be like. I never know what we're going to need, but let's get it. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. What in the entire male thesis? Yeah, that's what his problem is. Hey, there we go. All right. Is that it? Greetings, salutations. Are we live? Yeah, there we go. Greetings, salutations. What's up, everyone? Multi-screen, multi-screen, multi-stream. See if we live here yet. Dun 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 dun. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. Oh, yeah. I guess I should stop feelings. We are live. I'm like, this is try to trick me. That's what they do. They try to trick me all the time because we be live, we be jamming, and I still be experimenting. Y'all hear the feedback? Hold on. There we go. There we go. Ain't no way they already messing with the connection. It's tonight movie night. My little nephew want a movie. I guess I'll do a movie for my nephew as soon as I figure out. Let's see. Yeah, I got a Kiki Palmer and SZA movie. I also got Wolfman. I think I want to watch Flight Risk myself. Here but already sleepy. I knew it. I knew it. My chief of security is already sleepy. Uh, where my Dora Milaje at? They gonna have to. They have to. Yeah. My chief of security already sleepy. Petra sleepy too. Oh, it's gonna be an interesting night. I have no guardrails. Good. Let's get it. All right, several things I wanted to talk about. First, if you followed the news, or if you just have, I don't have True Social. Let me tell you, once something happens on True Social, I text Petra and I say, Petra, I need this post on True Social because I was hearing rumblings and I was like, yeah, no, I don't. So I had to text Petra. So the president of the United States uses his True Social account to fire people. Yeah, fire people. Let me give you a little background before I get into fire. Because yesterday at the White House, a bunch of Rocket Raccoons were invited to the White House to celebrate Black History Month. And of course, Tiger Woods was there and they gave him some medal. I couldn't stand to watch it, but I watched it without the sound on because I didn't need to know what it was saying. I was just looking at these TikTok Rocket Raccoons that were in this room. It was a bunch of TikTok Rocket Raccoons, social media Rocket Raccoons that swallow the glizzy of Donald Trump on a regular basis and have been swallowing the glizzy of Donald Trump since 2015. And they were there. And he was talking about building statues and they're going to build a statue to Kobe Bryant. And I guess that's supposed to, be impressive, right? So that we there yesterday celebrating, commemorating Black History. But I like to also say there was no Black History truly in that room. There were no black people in this room. There were just a bunch of Rocket Raccoons. And I said what I said. Feel about it how you want to. You can't beat me up. So today, let's get into the why I text Petra and told them that I needed the True Social post from Donald Trump because today Donald Trump manages to fire in a tweet the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yeah, you heard me right. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Hold on, turn this down. Turn that down. So yes, he managed to fire the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, the second black man to serve in that position since Colin Powell was first, and a four-star general, CQ Brown or Charles CQ Brown. He fired him on on True Social. He wrote out basically, thank you for your years of service, 40 years of service, and fighter pilot, and the second black person to serve as the Joint Chief of Staff, chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. But here's the thing: he replaced this chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. Who do you think You think replaced him with somebody better qualified, more years of service, and higher rank? Did you get that? Did you Do you think he replaced him with somebody at least as qualified, with as many years of service or higher rank? Yeah, no, he didn't. He replaced him with somebody that his own military bio says that from 2009 to 2006, he was a part-time National Guardsman. And nothing taken, nothing from the National Guard, great, everything. You replaced a four-star general with a three-star general that retired as a part-time member of the National Guard from 2009 to 2016. A retired three-star general. Oh yeah, Danny Kane, Danny Raisin Kane. Yeah, yeah, of course. Greetings and salutations. Of course, that's what he did. Olivia joins late. Make a note of that. A three-star general. But see, this is this is what happens because we got a major that replaced another four-star, a high-ranking black man as the Secretary of Defense, who also has a drinking problem. But hey, I digress. Nothing like merit. That's what happens in a meritocracy, right? We replace the high ranking black man with somebody just as qualified, right? Right? He fit the color scheme. listen, listen, and don't think. And then I find out later he also fired the secretary of the first woman secretary of the sec, what is her rank? She's not secretary of. She's a director of the Coast Guard, the highest ranking woman in the military. He replaced her too. So it's official. Donald Trump doesn't like black people and doesn't like women. That's why he had a mail order bride. I said what I said. Feel about it how you want to. Feel about it how you want to. It can't beat me. My like I say, yeah, you can't beat me up. And if you could, you would try to do something about it. You would try to do something about it. Executive bleaching. I think conservatives think DEI is what white privilege actually is. Uh, grandmother, my grandmother is in here. I didn't see grandmother come in. Stop it. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Yeah, you would have tagged her in that comment and not just said that. And my grandmother would have spoke to me if she came in. Now, anyway, so that is what is happening today. Stop playing with me when I'm being serious. That is what is happening today. We've watched the President of the United States with his 3.5 weeks of rhetoric on merit replace another overqualified black person for a position with a mediocre white man. Yeah, literally. Literally, that's what we have done. We've seen it again. And then to watch those Rocky Raccoons at the courthouse, at the White House yesterday, acting like they were really doing something. I I, I should have snuck. I wish I could have snuck in there, and with some arsenic. What's a fast act? I need something faster acting than arsenic in one. Probably a neurotoxin. Just one drop in a drink, a neurotoxin. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I said it. Anyway, so let that sink in. That's what we went in. That's what we getting. And this argument of merit, spare me. And so then someone was telling me, "Hey, go to." We were talking about how they split Jasmine Crockett's interview and made it seem like she said something directly that she didn't say, and didn't complete the sentence she did say. So in my that video, I want to say this too before I get too far off the video comment section. How do I put this politely? I don't really know how to put it politely. Some of y'all, I know you all. If don't comment on my videos, anything about, just comment. Just if you want to boost the video, just say hi, TNathan. How you doing? Something like that. But yeah, I need you all to stop not listening to my interior videos before you comment, because then I read your comment and I be like, I think something that I can't even put under the comment because TikTok will violate me for it. I understand. If you don't understand the gist of the video, watch it a couple of times. Just watch it a couple of times. Now, I don't care about, not for the viewing, but to make sure you grasp what I'm talking about. Because I'm tired of people that say they follow me commenting on a video. And I'm not even saying you're commenting halfway through because I don't have a clue what video you listened to and the one you left the comment on. I understand. I know. Told my bestie I was going to try to do better, but sometimes I'll be trying to answer questions that have no basis in reality or no focus on the video, and I'll be like, "Why? Why?" So, and I'm talking like I'll talk about Jazz. I was talking about the Jasmine Crockett thing and how Donald Trump saying he's gonna give $5,000 back, and I succinctly explained why this is not possible or probable. I succinctly explained why $5,000 for 200 million people would be over $1 trillion. And there's no way in doing it. And people are talking about stimulus checks. And I'm like, be wanting to scream. I was like, well, how did we get there? What in my video did I mention stimulus check? I didn't say anything about a stimulus check. I talked about the impossibility of somebody getting $500 back from the government waste that Elon Musk is allegedly cutting because the government, and I say things like, the government budget for last fiscal year was $6.75 trillion. And I say, at best, Elon has cut $16 billion and not the $55 billion that they're claiming. So I'm wondering, do people think billions is more than trillions? Is it me? Is it me? Do people think that billions somehow are more than trillions? Because I think when I see people, or people will make comments that I'd be like, if you just wanted to say that, why didn't you go make a video of your own and say that? And stop commenting on my video when I'm trying to answer questions of people who have legitimate questions. And yes, it's a pet peeve. I know. People are like, what? They say, oh, it helps the circulation of your video. Nope, it doesn't. It's a pet peeve. If you don't want to help the circulation of my video, just speak to me. Just say, hey, TNathan, nice video, or something like that. Do not comment something that has nothing to do with the video I'm talking about in the manner in which you think it does. Like I said, that video was not about stimulus checks, because in no way, shape, or form, maybe it's that people didn't know what stimulus checks were, as opposed to what Donald Trump is talking about, as far as a $5,000 check. Do you understand? The total three packages of stimulus checks did not add up to $1 trillion. Do you understand that? And why do you think that somehow there's $1 trillion to be found in government spending that does not include and not paying somebody's salary is not finding waste. Do you do understand that, right? Firing people and putting 200,000 people in the workforce unemployed is not waste or fraud. I love it, King, that you usually deliver the truth. Thank you. I don't know. I know the difference between 9 and 12 zeros. Thank you. But I just be wondering, and I see people do it, and I be like, what do you want here? Or I'll see people basically say something that I said in the video like it's not in the video. And I'll be like, and then I'll ask them. I say, "Excuse me, what is this about?" And I'll have me going back to my own video and listening to it and say, "Did I say? Did I do that?" And then I was like, "Yeah, I covered that." I don't understand. He's not going to give us hack. Getting them minds right, Dina. Yeah, what's up, Mister? I don't give a fuck. How you doing? I heard from a Trumper that Elon is paying us out of pocket. My hero. Yes, he doesn't have $1 trillion either. I know people like to think it, but he doesn't have $1 trillion either. And that wouldn't work because I don't think people come to realize people don't know how money works and what wealth is and the difference in the two. I've come to realize that. I did not understand that until I think when I see people talking about so and so just needs to give this money to somebody. I was like, do you know how wealth calculation work, net work? It's not like you have $100 billion laying around in a bank somewhere. I mean, oh, also, you all pass along to all your Trump supporting friends with their 401k plans. You remind them that today the Dow Jones added another 775 points down to the 437 points down from yesterday. So that means we closed out the week down over 1,100 points. All because Walmart said that they're expecting a slowdown and an increase in prices associated with, wait for it, tariffs. Yeah. And consumer confidence is down. And let's remind all those people that said they did it for the egg prices that egg prices are up 15%. Gas prices are up. Bacon is up. Inflation is up. Take the time. And also, when you tell them all that, ask them, do they have a booster like you do? just put it out there. Just put it out there. Right. They can't count. You're right, Tom. Regular chicken meat is up. 15%. Inflation is up. And remember, when he says, I'm on the first day, I'm going to lower prices. Next, I did a video and I was talking about how Governor Janet Miles of Maine, how she stood up to Donald Trump in the White House. And I want to say two things. And I mentioned specifically executive orders that she was standing up to, and all people got was the one on trans women in sports. And I'm going to address that also because that irritated the fuck out of me too. But I want to say this first. Resistance is about standing in front of people's place and actively working towards their dismantlement and demise. Democrats can take a lot of lead from what Governor Janet Mills did today. And I know we're listening to all these, well, we gotta fuck that. Fuck that. That's why I do it. I do it in people's face. When you all see me, I don't have time. She was like, I'll see you in court. He called her out like he was going to intimidate her. Like, oh, are you not enforcing my executive order? She said, no. She said, I'm enforcing the state and federal laws. He said, well, we are the federal law. She said, we'll see in court. listen, listen. Why is it that people are so timid in the face of this man? This man shows you who he is when you, especially women. Women That's why Jasmine Crockett gets on his last nerve. That's why, because you all have this idea, and all you all that are in these lives with racists and bigots and talking to them like they're decent, civilized human beings, you all are at fault, and that's why I've unfollowed some of you all, because you all are in these lives and you're confronting these people by not confronting them. You're just letting them ramble on. Let me tell you what a bully respects. A bully respects being hit dead in the face. Yeah, I want you to show me the bully story that ended because somebody talked to the bully and the bully came to some sense and they said, I am so sorry for being a bully. Every bully I beat up on other people's accounts slid down locker walls crying. But you know what they never did? They never bullied my friend again. That's what they never did. They never bullied another friend. People would just tell people they were my friends and bullying was over. Yep, I did that. Violence. Violence. Physical, mental, emotional, verbal violence is what bullies understand. And if you all are not giving it to them, then you're not doing anything but talking about opposition. You're not resistance. Governor Janet Miles stood up to Donald Trump in the White House and was showing you all how it be done. And that's why I think Democrats, y'all need a whole nother brand of leadership. Y'all need to fire everybody in leadership and get some people that are going to be resistance and not just opposition. You need to get people that understand that, hey, resistance means y'all gonna pass this anyway. I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna make you pass it without me. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. If y'all gonna pass these things, I'm gonna be on the media while you pass them. I'm going to be disrupting. I'm going to be filing court appearances. I'm going to be dismantling your system at every turn. I'm going to use my powers to get people into offices that they've been locked out of. I'm going to call up Capitol Police. I'm going to do whatever I can. You all let people raid. Y'all let people actually riot and break into the Capitol building, and you all actually have keys to the Capitol building or can get in there freely, and you're not disrupting it. Yeah, y'all not disrupting it. Y'all not really fighting. You all just fighting to look. And you can be resistance and talk about what you're going to do for the American people at the same time. Why is it an either or? I was listening to someone talk about strategy. The Democrats just need to capitalize off the fact that he hasn't done anything about food prices. Yeah, I can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I can do that and then call him a bitch made motherfucker all at the same time. Yeah, why? The president of the United States is a piece of shit, and this is what we're doing about it. And then when he responds back, see, and world leaders are showing how weak they are. Also, except China, world leaders are showing how hard they are. Zelensky is raging against the machine one day about Trump, and the next Trump he's talking about giving him precious minerals from your country. No, nope, not at all, not at all. All this, it's like we've gotten to a point where, what did Mao Zedong say? What did y'all should know? Y'all should know. Learned it last night in case you didn't know. War is politics with bloodshed, and politics is war without bloodshed. Well, I need to shed some blood. Yep. All this passive approaching that people are taking, all this kumbaya moments. I'm gonna tell you something about true leadership and people follow people who they know are going to stand up. They're not following people that are talking about liberation and talking about compromising with the oppressor in the same breath. Nope, it's not working. That's not how it works. If you're not standing up to bullies, then you're being bullied. That's it. Just checking in, going back to. I know my niece not woke. I know my niece not woke. I know she not on social media at this present moment either. Greetings, nephew. I know my niece is not on social media right now. I'll call you later. I got you. I got you. Don't tell me you asleep when I call either, because you're not asleep now. I got you. Capitalists want you to believe you're in competition with immigrants for limited resources, but at the same time, billionaires hoard trillions of dollars worth of resources. Don't tell harm you at all because it's not a zero sum game. Something doesn't add up. Correct. What's up, Game Jammer? Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, exactly. And transitioning into the next part of that statement, and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get with your comment, gamer, because I like it, and I can't believe people don't understand it. But I made a. I'm gonna have to do a video because how many trans women do you think are in the NCAA sports? How many trans women do you think? And this is telling to me because I was making the video on the governor standing up to Donald Trump, and the thing he talked about was women and men's sport, I mean, men and women's sports, right? Because that's the trans executive order he signed. He signed an executive order talking about banning men in women's sports because he was talking about trans women. How many trans women do you think are in the NCAA? Very few. Out of half a million, it's really 512,000 something like that. But out of half a million NCAA athletes, how, and I'm not even adding school, how many trans women, because I want you to understand the executive order did not include trans men in men's sports. It only talked about trans women in women's sports. Isn't that telling? Isn't, can't we just come out and say we're bigots? Do we have to go through all these mental gymnastics? And people who support this bullshit, you're a bigot also. Because at the end of the day, there are 8 women in trans women in women's sports. And I'll tell you this way, this is what's so funny to me. Because if Simone Biles was a trans man, she would beat most of the men in gymnastics still. Most of the trans women that are in sports areas, but it's about skill and not power. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? But on the reverse side, there is no executive order banning trans people in sports. It's just trans women. Isn't that telling? Isn't that telling to you all? Even if you believe in fairness, isn't that telling? Yeah, yeah, Simone Biles superhuman. PR firms generate racism. No, they don't. They just capitalize off of it. Racism is embedded to this country. It's a part of its DNA, and everybody just exploits it. Just you either exploit that racism for your own personal gain, or you try to stomp it out. There is no two sides to that. Yeah, public relation firms just exploit to they use racism to sell to their audience. But at the end of the day, it doesn't create it. The swimming one is funny. Like when you have you seen a you seen a swole swimmer? Michael Phelps isn't even swole, right? It's it's like if you want to get specific, political corruption is too profitable for the shareholders, right? But it's not in political corruption in and of itself. It is just can political corruption is inherent to political systems that are run by humans. There's going to be corruption. That's not my issue, right? It's not my issue. Really, I'm somebody who would care tear down capitalism in an afternoon if you let me, right? And by if you let me, I mean if 100 million of y'all joined me, I would show you how to destroy capitalism in an afternoon. But at the end of the day, racism is about power and control based on race. So even people that don't have trillions of dollars or billions of dollars or millions of dollars still engage in the game of racism because to them, if it's not faces at the bottom of the well, it's a sense of power and control and the only manner in which you can exercise it over somebody who's not your equal. So yeah, that's the reality of it. People don't like to talk about it like that because they want to believe that it's about equality. I have never fought for equality. I fought for equity. I fought for equal treatment under the law, but I've never fought for equality. I fought for equal access to resources and for equal treatment under the law. Those are not the same. Those are actually tangible goals. Because when people say we're fighting for equality, I'm like, in what? In what way? Because by nature, everyone's not equal. By nature, not even in adding a political system on top of it or any of that. Just by nature. Y'all know I'm in that group chat and it comes up every time y'all send a message, right? Just thought I'd let you know, Olivia. Um, y'all do understand that, right? To die for the people is weightier than mountains. Uh, even fighting sports like Merriweather's technique is made up for his lack of power. And this is the thing that gets me. Like I say, when I hear people just ignore science, ignore reality to push an agenda, guess what? Most of you all, well, in my life, it might be different because you all are more enlightened, but most of you all are never going to meet a trans person in your life. Most people that have so much invested in trans people are never going to meet a trans person in their life. Fight me. Fight me. Physics wins every fight. Good one. Good one. What's up, baby V? Baby Win Diesel? Good one. I reread Revolution. Okay. But do you understand that most people out here capping against trans women of color specifically, the most likely group of people to have violence done against them, and you are thinking their biggest fear is they are competing in sports. Really? Really? We need an executive. Didn't get an executive order about the price of eggs. Didn't get an executive order trying to deal with the price of eggs. But you know, you got an executive order dealing with those eight trans women in the NCAA. Are there any trans people around here? Do I know any trans people? Question is, when does that really happen? What's up, Bobby? What's up, Bobby? I see Bobby over here on. He's on Instagram. I forget where. I be looking at all these messages. I forget where he's on Instagram. We got people all over the place. And GCPR. GCPR. I'm going to get an international call in line. I promise you. I'm going to work on that and get an international call in. And so, because I love hearing about you all in real time, I love to hear your comments in real time. I know we have to do it on email right now, and I try to answer as many of them as possible. But if you don't get a response, I apologize. Because if it goes 2 days, you're not going to get a response. If you don't get a response back from me within 48 hours of sending me an email, you're not going to get a response back. I am sorry. It's too many of y'all. Yeah, but I try. I do what I can, right? But if you all could do like this, we can call in and I could address them as we go. Discord can facilitate international calls free. Yeah, but I would have to be on Discord at the same time. And I hate Discord. I'm gonna tell you. After my bad experience with the Fold and Discords, I don't do Discords anymore. I have not done a Discord since I disbanded the Fold because I just haven't, and I don't like them. I don't like Discord, but I might have to reconsider that Stone Gamer before that person's brother. My TikTok got hacked. Trying to get it back. I got Bobby Diesel on TikTok. Oh, you got a new? Why do you text it to me? You got my damn phone number, Bobby. Text me your new TikTok so I can follow it, and we can get you some follows. Bobby is my brother from another mother. He's an actor in New York. and I already told him when his breakout role come, I I'm his plus one on the red carpet. Yeah, when I told all my actor friends, I told Lala that too. When their breakout moment comes and they're walking on the red carpet, I will be their date. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I will be their date. I don't know. Red carpet, red beard. I'm gonna even do a fresh red beard, fresh cut, everything. I'm gonna be ready. I got I got this new concept for some. I don't want a punch in the stomach. Yes, you're right, because I'm showing up. The minute I know you breaking, the minute I know Bobby has made his break and I don't get that phone call and I get the premiere information, I'm just showing up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm with Bobby. He's like, well, he only got one ticket. I was like, I guess the other person's about to sit in the car. Because, Bobby, don't act like you don't know me. I will jump over this rope and punch you in the stomach. And then he really going to have a big break. Yeah, I told him. I told all of them. Y'all could take, I'm going to the first premiere. Y'all can take whoever y'all want to the next one. I'm going to the first one. Yeah. Are you saying it's okay for trans women to compete against biological women? I joined late. I'm saying that an executive order addressing eight trans women in out of 500,000 athletes in the NCAA, when you have done nothing to address egg prices, is not the priority. And I'm saying, what sport are you seeing that trans women are such a threat to women in out of 500, out of half a million, over half a million actual NAAC athletes? Also, I'm saying that if trans is the problem, why is your executive order only addressing trans women and not trans men? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that can we just call it what it is? Bigotry. Because the science of the sports that these women are competing in have nothing to do with strength. It has all to do with skill. Because there are trans women competing in sports that they haven't won every match they've been in, any more of a statistical anomaly than those who actually have genetic benefits like Michael Phelps did while being by his lung capacity and his longer limbs. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that that's the truth. Chilling on the red carpet in a suit with the Black Power symbol on the back. I'm wearing flares. I'm wearing flares too. I'm wearing my suit is going to be in the 1970s style, and it's going to be flare. Yeah, flare legged. Yep. So Bobby better be matching. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. Yep. It's going to be polyester also. It's going to be shiny polyester that I'm gonna make sure I pump up before I go that day. It'd be slim cut, flare, flare, flare leg pants, polyester 1970 type. Yep. No, I'm actually gonna wear boots. I'm actually wearing boots. I love boots, so I'm gonna wear boots. Yep. You're gonna see Bannon throw up performance. Right. Yes. Huge afro also red. No, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be. I'm gonna shave. You know how women be talking about they shave their legs for this? I'm gonna shave my head for this. Yep. Get fresh cut. Yep. And I'm gonna be like, they'll say, hey, you Bobby, who's your brother there? Yeah, what's up? Yeah. The boots gotta match your beard. That's good. I will do black and red. I will do black and red. I will do any color in red that matches. It depends on the time of year we go to. It depends on the carpet. It depends on the carpet. But my idea is a black polyester two piece flared with a red shirt on. Y'all done seen the look. Y'all done seen the look. Yeah, that's what I'm going in. Curtis Mayfield playing. You know it's super fly. You know it. I'm be real. Either it's gonna be Curtis Mayfield or Prince, and I'm talking about early Prince from the "When You Were Mine" album. You know when he was like, "I wanna be your lover," or "When You Were Mine." I used to let you wear all of my clothes. Yeah, yeah, that era, that era. You should do the dark red again. I probably for that night it's gonna be a bright red. It's gonna be bright red. It's gonna be blood red. We're gonna look like the superhero villains. That's straight superhero villains. Yes, yes. What's up, Reese? Yeah, that's it. Like I say, I love Curtis, but it's probably gonna be Prince. It's probably gonna be Prince. Yeah, we're gonna walk on the red carpet because it's gonna be his premiere, right? He's like every interview, I'll be standing right there. It's like, yep, it's my brother, and the prince gonna be playing in the background doing the interview, and let a bitch try to play us like they did Babyface at the Grammys, right? Let a bitch play us like they tried to play Babyface, right? Y'all gonna be like viral video moment. Red beard man snatches mic from interviewer. It's like I wasn't finished yet. Bitch, you know who I am. 18 I'm here to get on your nerves a little bit. It's not a good idea, but go right ahead. Not trying to sing. Your uncle can sing. Your uncle can sing. She will be back. Right. She would. I wish you would try. That's baby face. That's baby face. And you trying to rush me off after you called me over here. Oh no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No. CPAC is making me want to turn into the Punisher. I'm gonna tell you, back on topic, because Cam wants to talk about CPAC, and I was like, y'all don't want me to talk about CPAC because listen, listen, watching Elon Musk at CPAC with the buzzsaw of democracy, right? And I'm like, I'm just looking at it. I'm like, Bill Gates is a cool billionaire, okay? And that, comparatively speaking to Elon Musk, Warren Buffett is a cool billionaire, comparatively speaking to billionaire South African immigrant Elon Musk. Goodness, and then to watch this is what's so funny to watch dirt poor white people fawn over Elon Musk is hilarious. It's hilarious. He, he was on ketamine. Those motherfuckers are competing with Mick. Listen, listen. At this moment in the game, it is funny that I am rooting for Mitch McConnell over them because he has been casually not voting against people. He's been casually doing his part. I say, no, you're about to die, and you want to try to fix some shit, right? It's funny, but as a resistance. See, this is what I don't think people realize. People be talking about, well, listen. As a resistance, I am trying to influence everybody to drive a wedge between Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Yes, I want them to see the videos where I call. Well, I want us all to start saying President Musk and Vice President Donald Trump. I want people to just make videos saying that. I want it to become a thing. I want it to become a trend. I want it to become so big news stations start covering that people are calling Elon Musk president and relegating Donald Trump to vice president. And then I want you to sit back and watch the fireworks. I just want you all to sit back. That turtle demon don't know where he's supposed to. Yeah, you talk about me. I don't care. I want him just to continue to do the things he's doing. Any Republican that I still won't like, I still would sling Mick McConnell's ass into an active volcano, right? But since I can't get my hands on it right now, I want him to do everything in his power. Listen, listen. If I was Mitch McConnell's wife, I'd be like, you go out there and support Donald Trump if you want to with your old ass. I'm gonna act like Diary of a Mad Black Woman and push your ass into a pool, into the indoor pool. King Must and Minister Trump. No, I'm scared of that, Bobby. That's too close to the Left Behind series. Elon is the real puppet master. Let me tell you, and this is going to sound bad, right? I don't think so. I think that Elon Musk is doing what Elon Musk wants to do. Donald Trump is allowing him to do what he wants to do, as long as it doesn't interfere with Steve Miller's plan. Steve Miller and Steve Bannon, long as it doesn't interfere with their neo-Nazism, they good. Because a lot of the things Donald Trump do are horrible. Don't get me wrong, but him and Elon Musk, let's be realistic. Yes, they're cutting hundreds. They're going to cut hundreds of thousands of jobs if nobody stops them. Right? This is what they want to do. They want to do that. For Elon, it's a big experiment because he's awkward and he's also a neo-Nazi and he also is, apartheid. Did I say more? He's doing that. Their ideas, and Donald Trump just wants to be richer and he wants adoration. Donald Trump is a narcissistic egotist and he wants adoration. Stephen Miller is dangerous on a whole nother level. Stephen Miller and that cabal that he is a part of that backs Donald Trump, that he is positioned in all these places, they are dangerous because number one, they are younger and they are what will be called kingmakers in the past. But they stroke Donald Trump's ego, and they are highly efficient at what they do. That's why I say, in order to disrupt this, you have to disrupt the relationship between Elon Musk and Donald Trump because then they're going to be so distracted going at each other that they're not going to have time to do anything that the others want done. Because really, Stephen Miller merits arrest crime for against him. Right. I don't think people know who Stephen Miller is either, Bobby, as much as they should. They don't even understand. Stephen Miller is your basic not neo-Nazi. I mean, basic. When you see him, when you hear him speak, when you hear him, they're propping Donald Trump up because one thing that Donald Trump has that they don't have is an ability to connect with the audience that needs to be connected with. Donald Trump has that ability. Donald Trump speaks their language. So, and Donald Trump has them. So that's the power that they have is because they don't have it. Steve Bannon doesn't have the ability to lead, like to be the figurehead leader. Steve Miller doesn't have to be the figurehead leader, but Donald Trump does. And if we but he also has the ability to disrupt this if we become resistance and not just opposition. I can't say the F one, but the F word, Elon and Chancellor Trump. Just give Elon Trump's AH titles. The government is Stephen Miller, aka is highly he's highly dangerous. See, what makes Elon dangerous is the fact that he surrounded himself with a bunch of hackers that now have access to all this information. That I'm not seriously when he's putting himself in a position, and we're putting ourselves in a position as the government that you can't afford to offend Elon Musk now that his hackers have all this information about our pay systems, about personal information of 2 million easily employees and almost 200 million Americans' personal information that is stored in the IRS databases, all your pay, all this. He has that now. So if you piss him off, you think, and this is what gets me. People were talking about how dangerous China was with all this information. Like China could have been had this information. China could have been had this information. China got all it doesn't have is not going. But Elon Musk not only has the information, but easy access to it. And then these hackers, you will not convince me that these hackers that have been turned to loose on American sensitive information did not put back doors into these systems. Because even though the court telling y'all don't have this access, it's too late the day after they done gone in there and looked through all these files that they only had read only access. Name a hacker in a movie where you seen that they didn't do exactly what I said they're gonna do. Yes, all these little 19 to 25-year-olds, Yes, each one of them got a back door into every system they touched. Yeah, fight me, fight me. Is who Jewish? Stephen Miller, probably as Jewish as the Mustache Man was, and we all know he was. We all know the 1930s Mustache Man was. He just hid it, and that's why I think Stephen Miller has that same syndrome. I say some wild things to conservatives in comments, so they have my account on lock. Yeah, I'm trying to expand. See, you got to be somewhat base with them because too much they don't understand. When you try to use too many words, it's like you don't know. I string words together, or I create certain imagery based upon alliteration of words, right? But it's so funny watching them not understand two or three words in my alliteration and be wondering how it ties together. It is so funny. It is so funny. Like this guy made a whole video about me, right? A whole video in response to me calling him out on the Jasmine Crockett. And I was like, it's so funny. I started to post it. So I was like, hey, let me give this to a larger audience. Because people don't realize with me, they will say something like, why are we giving them life or breath? And I was like, let me explain something to you. By the time I decide to see a video that I respond to, it usually already has 80,000 likes or something like that. Because I don't just scroll through TikTok. People send me videos. They are so number one. I'm not contributing anything to their like scam. Plus, none of this money is coming out of my pocket that they're making on this app. Those comes out of clicks and views that TikTok pays. Oh, I thought it was food out there. I thought there was crumb snatchers with food. All right. So none of it comes out of my pocket. I tell people I be trying to expose these people to the right audience. I be trying to. I don't care about how much money they're making off their videos and all that. If you say something fucked up, I'm coming if I feel like it. And I'm trying to expose you to a larger audience. I'm trying to expose you to a larger audience that you're going to have to pay consequences for your actions. See, it's safe when you do audience range. Nobody gonna walk up to you and slap you in Walmart. Say, hey, aren't you the person that said the N word in that video and said nobody was gonna do anything about it? And then pow, they get slapped. And then I want it on video too. So when you all be talking to me about giving people save your breath, we're not the same. We're not the same. It takes me less than a minute to make a minute video. It takes me a minute to make a minute video. It's not complicated. So when you all say this, you sound crazy to me because you're willing to passively sit by and let people do anything they want and then wonder why do people do anything they want? Because they don't face any consequences for it. I am trying to get them consequences. That's why I make videos. That's why I make videos. Now do we understand each other? That you all can stop telling me in my comment section that we need to not give them energy. I'm trying to give them all the energy I can get them. Y'all act like getting somebody beat up is gonna take all the energy out of us. That's an afternoon. That's an afternoon at Walmart looking for people in your area. Cause I'm gonna tell you what area they in. It didn't work for me. I've stopped going into lives lately because of their acceptance of BS. Right, Coco? Bella thought there was food too. She was alert. Yeah, she was alert too. Just got off work on my way to pick up my goddaughter and get us something to eat. Then I'll head home. I'll let you know when I made it. All right. Olivia's on her way home. I haven't seen Jay. Where's Jay at? Is Jay at work? Is Jay off? I saw him earlier. I know my chief of security and Petra probably sleep. They probably sleep. I am exactly. See, power has never conceded anything except to more power. That's the reality, people. It hasn't. If you sit passively by 3 minutes, thank you, Coco. All right. If you sit, gotta close down the store. We'll let you know when I'm home. All right, Jay's closing down. I will sleep for a few. Yes, Petra, I know. Chief of Security still hasn't checked in. That means he's out. Um, if you sit passively by and do nothing in the face of people doing something, that's not revolution. That's not resistance. That's that's complacency. That's compliance. Do you understand that? Are still going to watch the documentary? Y'all want to? I'm thinking I could. I don't mind if you all want to watch the documentary. I want to watch it with you. It's an hour. It's an hour and some long. We can watch that. Let me go 2 more minutes. Let me go 2 more minutes, and then I will cut the stream because I'm gonna show you something. I already got it pulled up. I already got it pulled up. It's been on the screen waiting. I was like, I didn't know. I didn't know. I wanted to make sure the people were here. I wanted to make sure you all understand who William O'Neill was. So when you hear it, you can realize how absurd. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You all know also today, February the 21st, is the 60th anniversary of the assassination of El Haj Malik Shabazz. Um, I put that, and if you notice that I did today, did anybody else see any dedications of today's commemoration on social media, on TikTok or other social media? Because I today is the 60th anniversary, February 21st, 1965. El Haj Malik Shabazz was assassinated. Um, yeah, matter of fact, yeah, that's interesting. Let's see. Hold tight. Dun 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 dun. This was so. Just a moment. All right. GCPR, we're out of here. If you want to tune in and listen to anything else, if you have a VPN, we'll still be live, but we're going to sign out because I want to get to some other things. And I didn't hook the radio up for them tonight. Sorry about that. Or I would let you all stay on Friday night, but that means I have to sign off and sign back in. And like I say, if we had the telephone hookup, I could take a survey and see if y'all wanted me to do that. But I'm gonna let you all go. DJ is into his Friday night bag, and you all have a good one. And I'll see you Monday at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. And Olivia, shut up. I'm not taking 3 hours to say goodbye. Peace. All right. All right. Did I log out? Yes, I'm logged out of the radio station. This is right on time. So this is today, commemoration. And I said what I said in this video, and I mean what I said, and I stand by it. Oh, hold on. Assassination of today, February the 25th, 2025, is the 60th year anniversary of the assassination of El Haj Malik Shabazz. Most of you all know him as Malcolm X. On February the 21st, 1965, El Haj Malik Shabazz was preparing to give a speech in front of an audience of 400 at the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan when a man with a shotgun rushed the stage and shot him once in the chest. Today, February the 25th, 2025. And then 13 seconds in, anniversary of the assassination stated the 21st. Of El Haj Malik Shabazz. Most of you all know him as Malcolm X. On February the 21st, 1965, El Haj Malik Shabazz was preparing to give a speech in front of an audience of 400 at the Audubon Ballroom in Manhattan when a man with a shotgun rushed the stage and shot him once in the chest and two others with semi-automatic weapons joined in. El-Hajj Malik Shabazz was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead at 3:30 p.m. The autopsy report revealed that El-Hajj Malik Shabazz had been shot 21 times. Besides the initial gunshot to the chest, he had been shot in the arm, the leg, and the left shoulder. And anybody who follows me knows that I revel greatly the stances that El-Hajj Malik Shabazz took in spite of the time or the place that he stood. He would have never sat back and did nothing in the face of injustice. And one of my favorite quotes by him is the one right above me. And I, for one, will join in with anyone, I don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth. In closing this video, as I listen to so many people quote Malcolm that are doing nothing in the face of injustice, I think about his words that they're not quoting. If you're not ready to die for it, take the word freedom out of your vocabulary. Y'all have the day you deserve, and may the ancestors judge you accordingly. And I said what I said. Just in case you didn't know, I said what I said. I stand by what I said, and I said what I'm just tired of people with their conditional service to injustice. I'm tired of having to talk to them. I'm tired of having to listen to them. I wish they would just go away. You said you're going to do nothing. Well, don't stand in the way of the people who are doing something, because then I'm going to consider you my enemy. Yep. Injustice. El-Hajj Malik Shabazz would have never stood silent in the face of injustice. And people going around here quoting him and that are standing silent in the face of injustice, I believe they should be thrown into active volcanoes too. Now, I'm going to try, if you watched Judas and the Black Messiah the last night with us, or if you have seen it and you know who William O'Neill is, then you will understand this interview. This interview is his recollection of the facts and what he says. So it's going to, if you know the story, it's going to anger some of you. All of you have never seen William O'Neill's interview. He was an FBI informant. And I know people, the movie stops in 1969 when he's paid with the gas station. But William O'Neill was an FBI informant all the way into the 70s. Okay? About 10 years later, he was still an FBI informant. So we're going to catch up. This is from Eyes on the Prize 2, and this is the interview with William O'Neill, the man responsible for the death of Fred Hampton. And hold tight. Looks like let me go reset it. Talk about having no conscience. Yeah.
Camera roll 3088, sound roll 341.
We passed that part because TikTok will.
The circumstances under which you began working for the FBI.
It was in probably 1967. I was with a guy one night, a friend of mine, and we were drinking beer, and we decided to go joyride. And we jumped in a car and stole it. And we were driving around the city of Chicago for 45 minutes and decided to leave the state to go visit a relative in another state. And we had an accident out of state. And prior to the accident, we had walked in a pool hall and was shooting pool. And at the door, you had to register your phone number and address. And we wrote down our names and phone numbers, then went and shot a game of pool, and then came out and had an accident. We fled the accident on foot, messed around in the city a while, and then caught a bus back to Chicago. And about 3, 4 months later, I got a call from this FBI agent by the name of Roy Mitchell.
Now, of course, you all know I'm going to interrupt. You all hear that story he's telling, right? You hear that story he's telling, this revisionist history of how he got involved with an FBI agent. Do you think the crime he's talking about was a crime that the FBI would have gotten involved in? It just happened to contact him and try to get him to infiltrate the Panthers because of a car accident that he said he took a car out of town and they had an accident. And somehow the FBI are involved in 1967. Does that sound right to anybody? Anybody? Does that sound feasible to anybody?
And he told me that he knew what I had done, and we talked. We went around a couple of times, and he said something like, "Well, there's no need in you trying to bullshit me. I know you did it, but it's no big thing." He said, "I'm sure we can work it out." And I think a few months passed before I heard from him again. And one day I got a call, and he told me that it was payback time. He said that I want you to go and see if you can join the Black Panther Party, and if you can, give me a call.
Can I just interrupt and have
Yeah.
you start that part about joining the Panther Party? But tell me again how old you were and that it was not he, but that it was an FBI agent?
I think I was about 18, 19 years old. And the FBI agent's name was Roy Mitchell. And he called me up on the phone and recanted the crime, pretty much. I tried to deny it, but he had the evidence, and he said basically it was no problem, that we could work it out, that I wasn't in any serious problems that he couldn't deal with. And a few months, 3 months maybe passed before he asked me to join the Black Panther Party.
Now, what did Mitchell ask you to do?
Well, he didn't give me any specific instructions at that point. He just said,
Can you say instead of he?
Roy said basically, just go and see if you can join the Black Panther Party. I understand they're recruiting Panther members. So why don't you go down to the office and see if you can join? If you get in, give me a call back. So the next day, I got on the bus and went down to the office of the Black Panther Party. It was located on Western and Madison. And walked in the office, about 3 or 4 Panthers in the office. And I think I was about the 5th member in the Chicago chapter to join. They had this big office building on this, and up on the 2nd floor they had about 5 or 6 offices, and very little personnel to run things. So positions, it was easy to get a position. So they appointed me as a security captain. That was the first time I met Fred Hampton, and he was the chairman, the spokesman for the party, and Bobby Rush was the Minister of Defense. He was Huey P. Newton's deputy, which was a top man in the state of Illinois at that time.
What did you think about the Panthers at that time? What framework did you understand them in? What did you thought about the civil rights movement? How did they fit into your understanding of politics and
I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood, and I had very little idea of I was apolitical. The Panthers, I had
What's that? Ah, dun dun dun. Hold tight. Hold tight just a minute. You all, I saw some people comment. Uh, this is not. Yes, today is El Haj Malik Shabazz day that he was assassinated. But this is what we're watching right now, and I gotta get it. It went out. What we're watching right now is William O'Neill's interview. And if you know who William O'Neill is, he is responsible for death of Fred, the chairman of the board, Fred Hampton. So hold tight.
The new membership, basically what it meant and what was happening, and they drove.
Can
The
y'all hear?
Panthers I had heard of only
Can y'all hear?
from a recent article, I think, that had occurred in the paper. Huey P. Newton had just been in a shootout with the Oakland Police Department, and one of them had died.
Who is Miss
And
Netta?
there was a lot of press about
Who is
that.
that?
But prior to the articles I had read about Huey P. Newton, I knew nothing of the Black Panther Party. In fact, the day I joined, I was pretty sure it was just another gang, not unlike the Black Stone Rangers or the Cobras or something. I had no idea of anything about their politics.
What did you begin to learn as you did join, and what kind of information were you able to give back to Mitchell?
Well, almost immediately after I joined the Panthers, probably within 10 days, I began to realize that the Black Panther Party was a little bit more sophisticated than a gang. The orientation process, the attention they gave to
Just remind you all of how much I despised this man, how much I literally hate this, how much that and I'm going to spoil it for you all in case you all didn't know. This interview was given in 1989 on on Dr. King's birthday. This is where this is from, right? I despise him. What he did is beyond redeemable. But to listen to him have this revisionist idea of his role in the Black Panthers and to listen to people talk about him in any positive sense will probably get you blocked. But the idea, this is a horror movie. And I'm trying to figure out why y'all want me to come to somebody's live, so I'll look in the inbox and see if it meets my criteria, because you know I don't argue with bigots or racists or any of that. But anyway, back to William Neal's.
to the political climate around the country had me going there for a while. And at one point, well,
And also, if you can look at me.
yeah, okay. They had, I think the first set of reference books I saw inside the Black Panther Party was the selected works of Mao Zedong, which I had begun to associate with communism. And it wasn't too long thereafter that I started seeing books like the Manifesto, the Communist Manifesto of Karl Marx, and then the collected works of Lenin. And every night after the office would close, the Panthers would sit down and they would study these books. We'd go through political orientation. We would read certain paragraphs, and then Fred Hampton and Rush would explain to us, the new membership, basically what it meant and what was happening, and they drew parallels to what was going on in the past revolutions in the various countries, like, for instance, China or Russia, and it was drawing parallels to what was going on in the current political scene within the United States. So they were drawing associations between the revolutions in the communist countries, as I understood it, as to what was happening in the United States, and so I understood them to be a little bit more sophisticated than a gang. I expected that it would be weapons and we would be out there doing turf battles with the local gang members, but they weren't about that at all. They were into the political scene, the war in Vietnam, Richard Nixon, and specifically freeing Huey. That was the thing.
Now, you would, I assume, report this information back to Mitchell. Did he have a response? Did he react to this?
Well, initially, Agent Mitchell requested very little information from me. It was a one-way street for probably about 6 months. I think he was, in every meeting that I had with him, he listened more than he asked questions. The typical meeting would be, okay, what are they doing today? And then I would just tell him what was going on around the office in general conversation. He said, okay, and what are you doing? And then I tell him what.
So you understand he is acknowledging that he was an informant for the FBI. He's acknowledging he is an informant for the FBI. This is not subjective. This is what this man did. This piece of shit.
I was doing, and then he'd make mental notes. Sometimes he took shorthand notes, and then we'd depart. He said, okay, just keep me informed. And so we had a very loose relationship at that point because the Panthers weren't too active militarily. Okay, they were politically organizing at that point. They were recruiting. At that point, the Panthers were trying to, they had speaking engagements at the different colleges and so forth. So we were in an organizing process. And there was very little criminal activity, as I could determine what was going on. Very little to report to the FBI, in my mind, because I felt like since the FBI was an investigative body investigating federal crimes, that crimes were what they were looking at. And so.
Tell me a little bit about how you felt about working for the FBI. What motivated you, and what ends you thought you were serving?
Well, in my community, the policemen were, it was the quickest way to gain respect. I think I grew up wanting to be a policeman, admiring and respecting policemen, although I always thought it was outside of my reach. My neighborhood was not unlike most people that grow up in Chicago. Most young people, we were very mischievous and did a lot of juvenile type, petty criminal type things, but stealing a car and all of a sudden having the FBI, having a case with the FBI that thought of really going to jail got my attention. And so when he asked me to join the Black Panther Party, and he used terms, he never used the word informant. He always said, you're working for me. And I associated him as the FBI. So all of a sudden, I was working for the FBI, which in my mind at that point, I associated with being an FBI agent. So I felt good about it. I felt like I was working undercover for the FBI, doing something good for the finest police organization in America. And so I was pretty proud.
Yeah, great.
Change Max,
Okay.
3089.
Camera roll number 3089.
Did you ever think, or did Mitchell ever try to convince you that the Black Panthers were a threat to national security? How do you understand what the FBI's interest was in Washington?
Well,
Queen, not goddess, he was a snitch. And every sense of the word. And to listen to him try to justify and blow this off, right? When you were complicit in the death of one of the greatest resistance leaders in our movement at the age of 21, and you got paid for this, and to listen to him and to take this part into account when he's acknowledging that he snitched. And I don't even know why you lied about how the FBI got to you. I don't even know why he lied about that. But to acknowledge that you were snitching, and this smugness that if I was interviewing him, if I I would have gotten a cameraman position on this job. Hell, I would have been the water boy on this job. Just so when this interview started, I could have slapped the taste out of his mouth with a 45.
I think Mitchell, the relationship between I and Mitchell concentrated on the local activities. We talked very very little about what was going on nationally early on in the game. Later on, when Bobby Seale and the guys would come to town, it took on a national scope. But right then and there, we were concentrated on the local chapter. And later on, I understood that his thinking in that regard, he wanted me to build up some credibility within the Black Panther Party. So he gave me a lot of room, a lot of leash at that point. He let me become a Panther before I became a FBI informant. I mean, I didn't go right in rifling draws. He directed me into the Panthers, and then when I got there, he backed off, and he let them work on me a while. And slowly it worked. I became a Black Panther in a way. I forgot the scope of me being there. In fact, I didn't really know why I was there. I just knew I was to report, but I really didn't have anything to report early on in the game, so I concentrated mainly on Panther duties. I lived the life of a Panther.
Tell me about that. How did you, what was the work that you did, and how did you rise up through the ranks of the party?
Well, mainly from day one, we had very little personnel and a lot of spots to fill. There were a lot of activity, a lot of things to do, and so naming positions at that point and filling those positions were really the leadership's responsibility at that point. And because of my knowledge of electronics and I was just a handyman basically around the office, and we had this office building that they felt like wasn't too secure. I started working right away to secure the building, and in that regard I fell right into the security position. And it got more sophisticated as donations started to flow. As the membership increased as a result of speaking engagements on the school campuses and so forth, my responsibilities doubled, and so I was given a staff of security people, and then I just advanced from that point on.
What were the major developments during that year of the Panther Party as you saw it? Was it the programs? Was it the alliances that the party was building? What was the Panther agenda as you came to understand it?
To free Huey, basically was the agenda of the Black Panther Party all along. Let it be no mistake, Huey P. Newton was locked down. The Black Panther Party was Huey P. Newton, and Huey P. Newton was the Black Panther Party. And no matter how powerful or strong our membership got in the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party, no matter how many speaking engagements Hampton had, or how many donations we had, or how many papers, there was always a national office out there to remind us that we were subservient to the national office, that we were just a chapter and we weren't the Illinois Black Panther Party. We was the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party, and their goals at that point was to free their leader, who was locked down in Alameda County Jail, facing the death penalty for killing a police officer. The party recognized that at that point that they needed liaisons, they needed alliances with various groups in order to survive, basically in the climate in Chicago. So they embraced the various political issues that was of the day. They got involved in all types of causes, mainly to fortify their position and to free their leader, Huey P. Newton. And he was effectively running the Black Panther Party from inside of the jails. Most of our political direction was mandated, came out through his lawyers, and was passed on nationally through the chapters. It was Huey Speaks.
I'll stop just a second.
Stop him down. Mark it, please.
Okay. You tell me about how things changed as the
Well, I'd say from February 1969, the activities within the party was high speed. We were in our bloom. We had about 500 members. We were selling probably about 25,000 newspapers in the city of Chicago every week, of the Panther newspaper, that is. We had various members of our party, of the Black Panther Party, going to the colleges all over the state, speaking engagements. Donations were coming in to the tune of about $1,500, $2,000 a day. But at the same time, the Chicago police had stepped up their activities also. A lot of the members were being arrested on petty charges. So the money we were bringing in on the one hand in donations, money that came through the mail anonymously, blank checks and money orders, was going right out in bail money. So it was intense. And in that regard, the Black Panther Party was everywhere and doing everything. We had 500 members and everybody was aggressive. And it was hard for me to report on all of the activities that were occurring. I could only concentrate on what my little group was doing. I was, as security captain, I was in what was called the defense cadre. It was technically under Bobby Rush's command because he was the deputy minister of defense, and then during that year we considered we were in a state of war. Our leader was locked down. The police was attacking offices all over the country. They was trying to break us financially through bail. And so the Minister of Defense takes over in a situation like that. Fred Hampton was in charge mainly with speaking engagements, public relations, reaching the people, recruiting, and things of that nature. He was the chief spokesman. He was the one that the cameras saw all the time. But Bobby Rush and our group was the operations. We were activities at that point. It was our job to defend the offices against the police, to get members out of jail, to discipline the members, to kind of, maintain the police control of the organization, to deal with informants and so forth.
Now, as the party was growing, though, what was Mitchell starting to ask you about, or how was your relationship with Mitchell changing?
Well, Mitchell was part of a squad, in my opinion, of about 5 or 10 agents, and each one of them had their little activities within the Black Panther Party. Mitchell's questions were defined mainly to my area. He never asked me how many newspapers that someone else was selling, or who got the catalogs for the Breakfast with Children program, or who's going to open up the medical center. He wasn't concerned with that. He was concerned with my activities in the Panthers, which at that point was exclusively security issues. We were buying weapons at that point. We didn't have any type of working relationship with the largest street gang at that time, which was the Blackstone Rangers. They had about 2,000 members and were well armed. And at some point, a meeting was arranged. We met with Jeff Fort of the Blackstone Rangers, and at that meeting, we were in a Catholic church. I remember that night.
This is William O'Neill's interview from Eyes on the Prize 2.
We were setting up, and Jeff Ford told Fred Hampton there is not going to be any Black Panthers in the city of Chicago. You guys either join the Blackstone Rangers or get out of the city. And
yeah, he didn't unalive himself early enough. He got Fred Hampton unalived, killed in 1969, and he didn't unalive himself until 1988.
Hampton came
1989, excuse me, after this interview. He unalived himself after this interview. This interview was conducted on Dr. King on Dr. King's birthday in 1989, and he unalived himself the next day.
Came away from that meeting feeling like we were going to eventually have to do battle with these guys. There was no compromise. They couldn't associate, the Blackstone Rangers couldn't associate our purpose politically with their gang turf thing. So we were going to have to deal with them. So the word went out to me to basically start buying weapons. We also knew that the state's attorney had declared war on us, and pretty soon we were going to face a raid at one of our offices. And the mentality at that time was that we know it's coming. Our job is to set an example for the people. We must be ready. And so we started fortifying the offices and buying guns and training our soldiers, the security people.
I want to talk now about
Idea that he keeps saying our, it makes me want to travel back to 1989 and beat his ass that day. I'm telling you. See, this is what I'm talking about. People hear this, and Cam, no, Cam, no. He and Fred are different between revolutionary, suicide, and revolutionaries. No, they're not in the same planetorial sphere. Um, this man should never be compared in any way to Fred Hampton. This man is a rocket raccoon of the most dangerous type. A rocket raccoon that willingly, listen, willingly infiltrated the Panther movement for the express purpose of reporting back to the colonizing system of establishment and undermining, because he doesn't get into it. He undermined them also. All these things he's talking about, we, motherfucker, there was no we. There was them and there was your bitch ass. And your bitch ass sold them out at every turn. A lot of the things that the Panthers were doing in Chicago, the this is how they knew. And this is not subjective. This is part of the FBI files that were released on the death of Fred Hampton, on the informant that was William O'Neill. And you ask, like, why was he allowed to walk around? Because people still didn't know this. This wasn't public knowledge until later, much later. If you remember, the Fred Hampton's mother and his baby mama, they sued the city of Chicago in 1970 for $48.5 million. And they didn't. That lawsuit took 12 years to settle. As a matter of fact, it took longer than that, because I think it was settled in like 1985 for the largest judgment, and it was like $1.85 million when it did settle, right? And understand, a lot of this came out after that lawsuit. So yes, they didn't.
the
I'm gonna stop
events.
because I just want to start cussing.
Oh, all right. Let's just stop that.
Stop.
I mean, yes.
Okay. Stop now? Yes.
But if you could, instead of the whole story about
You want to know, right now you're focused on
just
why I
the
went to
first deal.
the
Deal.
first connection. Okay.
Yeah, you'd stolen the car, and he called you back and told you.
Okay.
Like the fact that they kept recording him even when he didn't know he was being recorded. When they turned the cameras off, they were supposed to, well, when these they had supposed to turn the cameras off, but they kept the sound rolling. So that's why you get to get this input, because he was like, well, you keep doing this. They kept the sound rolling.
He could get you off the hook if.
Okay.
Market?
Well, he didn't say that, but
Tell me how you can prove it. 1 minute.
okay. Well, am I ready now?
Yeah.
Well, simply, I stole a car and took it across the state line. The FBI had a case on me. They could either prosecute me and put me in jail or decline to prosecute because I assisted them in one of their investigations. I think I understood that. So the day he called and asked me to join the Black Panther Party, I understood what my role was to be. And that's what I did. Is that good enough?
Understand, right? That where's this other person that was supposedly involved in this accident that you stole the car? Where are they? They just called you. They just called you knowing out the blue that you would do this.
Yeah, except you didn't say Mitchell. Can you try it one more time?
Mitchell, okay.
Brief like that.
Okay, it's simple. I stole a car and went across the state line, which violated federal law. Mitchell, agent from the FBI, had a case on me. He had a choice of either prosecuting me and sending me to jail or declining to prosecute as a result of me aiding him in another case. And I decided to take the latter. When he asked me to join the Black Panther Party, I did so, and I understood what my role was to be.
We didn't quite catch it, I think, but I mean,
That's a
we
roll.
can do it again.
Well, we can do it again.
Market?
Tell me about a typical meeting, and tell me again what Mitchell's
Well, a typical meeting between my FBI contact Mitchell would be downtown Chicago at 11, 12 noon, down in the basement of at some dark bar, and I would meet him at the bar. He'd be there when I got in there, and he'd have a drink, and I'd have a drink, and we'd sit there and talk for 15 or 20 minutes, and it was very casual. I mean, it was like I'd come in, and he said, "Oh, what you up to?" And then I'd say, "Well, I'm going down to Champaign on a speaking engagement with Fred, and I'm taking such and such with me, and we're carrying guns, and we're driving this car." And I'd just rattle it off. 10 or 15 minutes, I'd tell him everything I knew. He didn't have to say very much, because when I joined the Black Panther Party, most of the information that I was giving him at that time was new information to him. So as I grew inside of the party and began to learn things, he grew also. So he knew the members better than I did. We talk about the girlfriends and who was, pregnant and who had a venereal disease, and this was just casual conversation between he and I. He wasn't always writing. What he put in his files, I still don't have the benefit of, but I know after a while he and I became friends, and we talked in casual conversation about what I was doing in the Black Panther Party. Well, the whole nature of that relationship changed right around maybe November 13, when 2 police officers were killed by a Black Panther member named Jake Winters on the south side of Chicago. That night, as I understand the gun battle, Jake Winters straddled one of the officers who were wounded in the shootout and performed a coup de grace, a mercy killing. He straddled the officer after the officer was down and put a shotgun to his head and put him out of his misery. Or at least that's the way the newspaper described it. And I think the whole city, I think the Black Panthers took the rap for that one when they really didn't deserve it, because Jake Winters was out there on his own. He wasn't out there on any official mission for the Black Panther Party. He was out there on his own, and he got into a altercation with a guy, and the guy called the police, and the police came, and the shootout broke out, and 2 police officers were killed, and Jake Winters were killed. Well, the Panthers took the heat because Jake Winters was a Black Panther. And past that point, I noticed maybe a couple of days after this officer was killed, Mitchell had this grim, solemn atmosphere about himself, and I could tell he was looking for he wanted specific criminal violations. He wanted something that he could move on, and I think he may have implied or even expressed that at 1 or 2 points. He expressed his anger over what had happened, the total disregard for life, and that was the first time I ever saw him express a personal opinion about what he thought the Black Panthers were doing.
Okay, I want to get you focused now. It's November 1969. Can you describe to me the kind of information you were giving Mitchell about what was going on?
Well, he started, Mitchell became more specific during that time. He wanted to know the locations of weapons caches. He wanted to know if we had explosives. He needed to know who was staying at what locations, who spent the night where. His information didn't change so much as he requested more detail, and I knew why. The shootout on the south side had pretty much laid the foundation within the party, within the Black Panthers. We knew that the police would react some type of way. We could just feel the stepped up surveillance. We could feel the pressure all the way around, and we knew something bad was going to happen, and I think we were all prepared for it. During that time, Fred was conducting quite a few speaking engagements, but even his attitude had changed somewhat within the Black Panther Party. He was becoming less he was becoming more reluctant to speaking engagements, to making those outward appearances. He became more reserved, more protective of himself. He very seldom traveled anywhere by himself, and he began taking 5 and 6 bodyguards with him. And so he felt it also. Also, he felt like he was going to prison. He was pretty sure that the robbery conviction was going to take him out of the game. So he started preparing other members to take his role, pretty much.
There's a floor plan of the apartment on Monroe Street. And there are FBI memos that I've seen that are under name, but the implication has always been that some of the information came from you on reports about weapons being at Monroe Street or not. Did you give that information to Mitchell? And if so, did you describe to it?
Well, I routinely supplied whatever floor plans or diagrams I could to the FBI. That started in June 1969. I mean, they had a floor plan and keys to the Black Panther headquarters. The specific apartment on Monroe, I supplied that floor plan. Perhaps not the one you saw, but I do remember meeting with Mitchell at one point and drawing up a diagram of the apartment. The one I've seen in court, that was a little bit more fine-tuned than the one that I, drew.
Describe to me the meeting where you remember giving information to Mitchell.
Well, the meeting was not unlike the other meetings we had had. It was always at the same location, was always during the daytime, and it was routine. Here again, in my mind, I knew that a raid was being planned. In my mind, I knew it. I knew also from the type of information that it would be probably a top raid, meaning the leader, from one of the leader's apartments. I also knew that the most vulnerable spot was Hampton's house, because it was the one that had all the weapons in it. It was the one with the weapons. Very few of the other apartments had the kind of weapons he had at that apartment. So when he asked me for the diagram, it didn't surprise me. I knew the raid was going to be planned. I felt like at that point, what they wanted to do was catch him with weapons and seal his conviction. If he'd have been caught with the weapons out on appeal, he would have went straight to jail. And I can't recall it being expressed. I can't recall any specific conversations I've had with Mitchell about the raid, but we had such a unity of mind, so to speak. Our efforts were basically one. I understood what was going on. He didn't have to tell me. He described to me going to the funeral of 2 police officers that got killed, and I knew he was hurt by that, and I knew he was going to do what he could to help the police department do something about it.
The night of December, I'm sorry, we need to stop for a second.
Yes, Dr.
How were you paid and how much were you paid?
Generally, I was paid in cash, and normal amounts would have ranged from $300 to $500, depending on my needs. If I requested a specific amount, I knew that I could get it. But the payments were very infrequent. I mean, Agent Mitchell determined early on in the game that spending money was the quickest way to blow your cover. Also, I was living in the Panther environment. I was living in a Panther house, which they called a crib. I was eating with them and sleeping with them, and I was with them 24 hours a day, so I had very little need for money. So I was always assured that my money was being held in trust, and that I could draw down on it anytime I got ready, or anytime I had a legitimate need that wouldn't compromise my security. I suppose at any point, if I needed $1,000 or $2,000 from the FBI, I couldn't have gotten it.
How often did you meet with Mitchell?
Depending on my travel schedule, and later on within the Black Panther Party. I was traveling around a lot as a bodyguard to Hampton and so forth, and everywhere he went, I went. So the meetings became infrequent as the activities picked up. Normally once a week. In the fall of 1969, it had gotten down to about once a week. And past that point, it was just telephonic contact.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's about out?
Yep.
Mark it.
Talk me through the events of the evening of December the 3rd, what you did, where you were.
December 3rd. It was cold that day. It was really a slow day. We were at the office. Hampton was there, Rush was there, the general staff was there. It wasn't too much activity going on streetwise because the weather was so cold. It's a melancholy kind of day. It just came and went. Got down to the evening. We all decided to walk the block from the office to Hampton's house and eat dinner. The women were cooking dinner, a big dinner, I think we had chili and big pot of spaghetti, and most of us that had labored at the office were looking forward to just going over there and eating dinner and reading and just being together. It was just a slow day. It was the last day it would be, it was the last type of day that we'd think that anything was going to happen. It was just too quiet. Nothing was happening. Totally off guard.
There are conflicting autopsy reports that Fred Hampton may or may not have been drugged. There are stories about whether or not you brought Fred Hampton food or drink. Do you have any information about whether he was drugged?
Fred Hampton drugged. I've never known Fred. I knew him for about 16 months. I've been with him in a lot of different situations. We've been in hotels together. We've been out, he and I alone in the car. I've never known Fred to take drugs. And to take it a step further, Fred would not tolerate anyone even smoking marijuana around him. And I don't think any of us in the hierarchy of the Black Panther Party would dare get drunk or drink. So alcohols and drugs were a no-no. As far as the rumors that he was drugged that night, unless he was on some type of medication, I think it was just rhetoric. I think it was fabricated. As far as the insinuation that myself or someone else in the house would have drugged Fred Hampton, I don't buy it. It was just no way. Fred was the type of person that you didn't have to drug anyway. Fred was always tired. He could get in a car and we couldn't ride 2 blocks without him dozing off. I mean, he was a high energy person that ran on very little fuel, and wherever he sat down, he was well rested. I've never believed that. I mean,
In the days prior to December 3rd, had you given Mitchell specific information about weapons that were at the Monroe Street Park?
well, I can recall we had a couple of conversations, but where I told him basically what was in various apartments, and the apartment on Monroe was not unlike the office and so forth. He had a running knowledge pretty much of where the weapons were, what weapons were there, and so forth. I can recall probably around the second or third verifying that certain weapons were steel as previously reported. Yeah, I can recall having a conversation or two about weapons.
How did you learn about the police raid on the Monroe Street apartment?
Well, the following day, I went directly to the office, and the office was empty, unusually empty. It was one girl sitting behind the desk, and she was on the phone, and there was just no people there. And I walked in, I guess it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, and I walked in, and I was waiting on her to get off the phone to ask, what was up. And I saw a copy of Sun-Times laying there and had his picture on there and had Panther leader slain on it. And boy, I felt bad. I felt just, oh, I mean, and I remember walking out of the office and looking through a little clearing over on the next block, which was right in front of the Monroe Street address, and seeing a lot of police cars over there. And at that time, Bobby Rush came to the office. He had just come from over there, or maybe the coroner's office. In any case, we walked back over there, and we both were speechless. We just walked through the house and saw what had taken place and where he died, and it was shocking.
What's
That
your
was
explanation of what happened?
well, that was. I think it was that morning that I began to feel that I felt really. I mean, everything that I had done flashed before me. I began to put it all together, pretty much, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just shocking, and that he had died.
What did you begin to put together?
The information, the information leading up to the raid, the attitudes, and the whole thing. I mean, you just felt it in the wind. You knew something bad was going to happen. I felt like it would be a raid. I knew it would be a raid. I mean, 2 police officers had got killed. I knew it would be a raid, but I didn't feel like anyone would get killed, especially not Fred. So yeah, I was shocked. I felt a
Did you
little.
have remorse about what you'd done?
I didn't feel like I had done anything. I didn't walk in there with guns. I didn't shoot him. FBI didn't do it. I felt somewhat like I was betrayed. I felt like if anyone should have known it was going to be a raid that morning, I should have known also. I felt like I could have been caught in that raid. I was there that night, and I felt like if I had laid down, I probably would have been a victim. So I felt betrayed. I felt like I was expendable. I felt like perhaps I was on the wrong side. Yeah, I had my misgivings. I'm not gonna sit here now and take the responsibility for the raid. I'm not gonna do that. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't issue the warrant. I didn't put the guns in the apartment. So I'm not gonna take the responsibility for that. But I do feel like I was betrayed. I felt like I should have known the raid was coming down. I felt like it was probably excessive. Yeah, I felt like it was a surgical strike, And I was real angry for quite a few days. I refused to have any contact.
Okay, better. Okay, better. Listen. Do you hear this man talking about he feels betrayed? He feels betrayed. He who told the FBI everything they needed to know. He who said him and the FBI agent were of one mind. He who knew this raid was coming. That's what I like about them keeping the cameras the audio rolling all through this. He knew the raid was coming, but he did not do anything to alert Fred Hampton. And yes, also the part I wanted to highlight is that the Cook County sheriff, the Cook County chemist that did the toxicology report, 2 times And she stood by it. She stood by her statement. Eleanor Berman, Eleanor Berman. She stood by her statement. She tested Fred's blood twice and found barbiturates in it. But somehow the FBI lab did not find those barbiturates. And he was right. That is one of the things I also inherited like Fred. I don't do drugs. I don't like drugs. I don't tolerate anyone in my inner circle that does drugs. So barbiturates were not even something Fred would have came by. Those were put into his system. And this bitch really kills me.
Contact with Roy Mitchell at that point, but I think he pretty much understood too. We got together and had a few drinks, and he didn't take any responsibility for it either. He said basically he didn't know it was going to occur, which at that point was hard for me to believe. I just began to understand basically how serious and deadly the game we had all been playing for 16 months. The reality of what we were doing just came to bear on us that morning. I think the membership was automatically decreased by 300 members that never showed up again when that happened. I think that all of our enemies, all of the Black Panther Party's enemies came out of the woodwork to capitalize on the situation. Bobby Rush was angry for quite a few days about all of the national leaders that showed up to lend support to the Black Panthers, who wouldn't sit down and have a conference with him early in the game. All of those people that showed up at Freddie Hampton's funeral and looked over his coffin didn't give him 10 minutes of their time when he was alive.
Yes. Stop now. Parking, please.
My recruitment by the FBI was very efficient, very simple, really. I'd stolen a car and went joyriding over the state limit, and they had a potential case against me, and I was looking for an opportunity to work it off. And a couple of months later, that opportunity came when FBI agent Roy Mitchell asked me to go down to the local office of the Black Panther Party and try to gain membership. I did so and became a member of the Black Panther Party.
Were you aware specifically through Mitchell of a program called COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program?
At the time, no. I had no idea of any national program out to get the Panthers. I had no idea. In retrospect, I have determined from the type of information that I probably contributed greatly to it.
You told the story before, and I'd just like to have you repeat it about Mitchell telling you that he had other agents give him information and how they made, you know how you were being checked out.
Well, I think early on in the game, he let me know that the information, most of the information that I was supplying him was information he had already, or had been developed by his squad already. He kind of indicated that the information I was supplying was being cross-referenced with other informants. So I always felt like it was best to tell the truth in talking to him because he had his own methods. It was very little information that I gave him that he seemed surprised of. Okay? I just assume the FBI is not the FBI for nothing, you know.
Once again, I want to ask you about your feelings when you learned about the raid, Fred Hampton's death, or walking to the apartment with Bobby Rush.
I can't do it again. I just can't. It won't gel.
That's a cut. Parking.
Okay, I listened before. You went to the office that morning, and you saw the headline, and then it hit you.
Well, it didn't really hit me then. It hit me after I walked into that house. it was cold, and it was blood everywhere, and it was holes in the wall, and then I was, I just began to realize that the information that I supplied leading up to that moment had facilitated that raid. I knew that indirectly I had contributed.
This is what I say. They kept going over this with him, and you see how his story transitions, right? First, I'm not responsible. Nothing I did was responsible. Now he's talking about I felt like the information I gave facilitated this raid. Do you understand? No, you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. Listening to him is like listening to Rocky Raccoons today and Rocky Raccoon sympathizers that play with their food and then realize that those same people you allow into these spaces, if he would have if Fred Hampton, and this is why I will never make this mistake, because if Fred Hampton would have allowed Shirley to shoot William O'Neill the first night they doubted him, the first night, it would have been a whole different thing. I'm all for killing. I'm all for killing those who betray me. I'm all for it. I'm all for killing people who betray the movement. Yes, I said it. I mean it. I stand by it. I'm all for it. When the nephew is around me and he feels something, or any of the people that are in my inner circle, they want. Yep, yep.
And I felt it, and I felt bad about it. And then I got mad. I had, and then I had to conceal those feelings, which made it worse. I couldn't say anything. I just had to continue to play the role. And I think it was at that point that I lost something. I lost something. Everything that I thought we were doing to fight crime had a different message after that. It was a blow. That's the best I can do with that one.
Cut.
Talk about that. Did you ever think about the movement, the civil rights movement, what the Panthers was doing? Did you ever talk about that?
Yes, I did. But it came later for me. The movement came later. Well, you got to understand. I was inside of the Black Panther Party, looking out at the movement. Something in my note?
No, look at me.
Oh.
Right back.
Stop the camera a minute, please. Well, I always understood the movement from Martin Luther King's angle. In my view, he was the movement. The Panthers, their perspective was as black revolutionaries, black nationalists. They really didn't want this government. They wanted to overthrow this government. They wanted to embarrass this government. They wanted to punch holes in the system. They wanted to investigate and illustrate its shortcomings. That was their purpose. They were a vanguard. At one point, the party members embraced Huey P. Newton's writings. It was a theory of revolutionary suicide. They felt like their job was to get out there and basically die to set an example. They were sacrificial lambs, for the people. That was their position. It was a phase. They were not really in the mainstream civil rights movement, in my opinion.
Tell me what you thought about Fred Hampton as a human being.
I thought Fred Hampton was pretty idealistic. He was pretty dedicated to the black struggle. I felt like he gave a lot. He gave his life, and out of the 16 months that I knew him, I don't have anything bad to say about him. I'm sorry that he died like he did. He was, in my opinion, he was murdered by the Chicago Police Department. and I feel bad about that. I felt like he was a person that died for what he believed in. Had he lived today, he probably would be a politician, a successful politician.
You said that he thought he might die after he got out of prison.
No, I think he felt after he got out of prison like he was a target unfairly. I think he felt like he was going to jail for 5 years and nobody else was. And all he had done was basically gave speaking engagements. So I think he felt used. I think there was always a friction, a little bit of jealousy between the price that the local chapters were paying and the splendor and the notoriety that the national leaders were getting, such as Eldridge Cleaver and Huey Newton and those guys. We felt like we were paying, the Panthers felt like they were paying a heavy price to be Panthers. And I think at one point Fred felt like he was a focal point of a national agency to get him. And they were going to get him one way or the other. And he felt pretty much taken out of the game with 5 years. I think he was resigned to go into prison. He was resigned to not being a Panther anymore.
Let me ask you about the Chicago police and the FBI. Do you distinguish between the two?
I do. I definitely do.
Do what?
I definitely draw a distinction between the FBI and the Chicago police. I have known quite a few FBI agents, and I've worked with them for the last 5 or 6 years, and they've never asked me to compromise my morals or my principles. Contrary to public belief, I haven't been instructed to commit crimes or provoke crimes.
You understand that? He said, I worked with him in the last 5 or 6 years. This was 1989 when he gave this interview. This was 1989 when he gave this interview. He was still working with the FBI.
Or conduct burglaries or inject drugs in people or to commit murder. I haven't been. If anything, my association with the FBI made me a better person.
How did they treat you when you were relaxing with Mitchell? Were there ever any other agents there? Did you treat it as a peer?
Not only was I treated, I had been to Mitchell's home. I have held his child in my hands, in my arms when he was 1 year old. I have been through the offices of the FBI wearing sneakers and a dirty T-shirt with Mitchell. I rode around with him in his car during that time, 3 or 4 months after I became a Panther. I've eaten at his table, at his dinner table. We had at one point, he was a role model for me when I needed one. I mean, we had very few role models back then. We had Malcolm X, we had Martin Luther King, we had Muhammad Ali, and I had an FBI agent.
Do you want to be a policeman?
Not anymore, no, not a policeman, no. I've never wanted to be a policeman. The FBI, I think, are much more efficient, much more effective organization than the policeman, yeah. Chicago police are one thing. The FBI is another. Yeah, I see a distinction.
Stop and type this down.
Yeah.
Loss. Do you think there was a loss? He was killed.
Was there a loss?
Marty?
Was there a loss? Yes. I think that the slaying of Fred Hampton was definitely a loss to black people in general. He would have made he was a fine leader then, and he would have made a better leader. He was only maturing then. I mean, he was 22 years old. And
21.
we tried to
21.
develop negative information to discredit him, just like we did everybody else. We, meaning the FBI. I tried to come up with signs of him doing drugs.
Listen, this Negro ain't never been to no FBI academy. He's so far up masters. He's saying we. You hear this Negro saying we. You were a snitch. You were not a part of the FBI. But he is like, we tried to develop information. I wish he'd pick a struggle. Wish he'd pick a struggle. He.
or or something, and never could. He was clean. He was dedicated. I've had private conversations with him. We got along pretty well. For about 7 months, I was his personal bodyguard. He wouldn't go anywhere without me. And I know Fred Hampton better than anybody, to tell you the truth. He was dedicated. That's all I can say to it.
Some rollout?
Market, please. Do you think of yourself as a hero for what you did?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm not a hero. No, I don't think of myself as a hero for what I've done, but at the same time, I don't feel ashamed. It was my role during that time. There were a lot of different roles, a lot of different positions. There were actually a lot of blacks fighting in Vietnam that felt like they should have been there and was proud to be there, fight for the country. I felt like there was a war here in the street, and I was recruited early, and I joined sides early, and I didn't straddle the fence. I gave it all I could, as long as I could. And then when I felt like I couldn't give anymore, I left. I excused myself. Do I feel like I betrayed someone? Absolutely not. I had no allegiance to the Panthers. I didn't even know what they were about when I joined. I joined at the instigation of the FBI, who I had scant knowledge of. So, no, I don't feel like I betrayed anybody. I don't feel like I'm a hero. Am I proud? I'm proud of some of the things that I done. There were certain things that we done that prevented a lot of violence. There could have been more shootouts between the gang members. Every now and then, a suspected informant inside the Black Panther Party would be unearthed or detected, and we passed on information to get that informant out of the game. And so we avoided some violence there.
How do you think members of the black community at that period would have perceived what you were doing?
Well, those members of the Black Panther Party, those members of the community that weren't informants, I'm sure that they wouldn't understand, but there was quite a few informants back then. Quite a few. I mean, what am I supposed to do, feel guilty right now about it? I didn't feel guilty then. I was hurt because Fred Hampton died. I was hurt because a lot of other people died in the Panthers. There were a lot of Panthers that died in Chicago, got killed needlessly and senselessly. At this point, I question the whole purpose of the Black Panther Party. It got a lot of people hurt, and they did very little else. I mean, if you associate the Black Panther Party with the civil rights movement, that's a mistake. In my thinking, they were necessary. It was a shock treatment for white America to see black men running around with guns, just like black men had saw white men running around with guns. Yeah, that was a shock treatment. It was good in that extent, but it got a lot of black people hurt.
Regret the personal costs? Was there personal cost during that period in terms of relationships with Mormon or with friends?
No, because the Black Panthers were communistic, and basically everything we had was within the party. When I joined the Black Panther Party, I developed friendships. I developed new friends within the party. I was closely aligned with what they were doing. It was only certain individuals that were of any interest to the FBI. The FBI never asked me about the Breakfast for Children program. They never asked me about the free medical program. They never said anything other than ridicule the Black Panther newspaper. They never questioned their right to have firearms. They were only interested in Panthers that were doing other things. Panthers aligned to SDS and the Weathermen back then. Panthers that were smuggling guns into the city. Every now and then I'd pick up a locker full of composition C4, and the FBI was interested in tracking that type of weapon, to find out where it was destined to. They were only interested in basically the communications we had with other militant divisions, splinter groups outside of the city. They never asked me about free clothes for children and stuff like that. No.
Did you ever develop any hard evidence that Panthers were involved in the coalition with SDS?
Well, the Panthers had a public coalition with SDS, but the under the Weather Underground was a different ball game. But then I knew Bernardine Doran and those people before they became weathermen, when they was just SDSers. And I knew the relationships we had then. And the relationships were pretty tight. There was always, there was no hard proof. But who needed proof? I didn't need it. FBI didn't need it.
What would you tell your son about what you did?
I think I'll let your documentary put a cap on that story. I don't know. I don't know what I'd tell him other than I was part of the struggle. That's the bottom line. I wasn't one of those armchair revolutionaries, one of those people that want to sit back now and judge the actions or inactions of people when they sit back on the sideline and did nothing. At least I had a point of view. I was dedicated, and then I had the courage to get out there and put it on the line, and I did. I think I'll let history speak for me.
Knock him down.
Oh, yeah.
It was only when you walked back in.
Yeah.
Were the Chicago police gonna raid you?
No. We wasn't worried about the Chicago police raiding us. Like I said, we had guns. They knew we had guns. We'd had guns ever since we were there in the office. And nobody expected Chicago police just to blatantly come up in there. And sure, if we were to shoot out the window or something, or somebody run up in there and they're in hot pursuit, yeah. But we didn't expect the police department to come at 4 o'clock in the morning and raid the apartment. I mean, they knew guns were there. Hampton was out on appeal, and I think they were suspecting that he would probably try to flee the state or something. So they had cars on him constantly. I mean, he was tailed constantly. But like I said, it was a game. It was a game we were playing. The leather jackets, the beret, the military format, the guns, it was all to impress the people, really. We never intended to take on the police department to overthrow the government. The Black Panthers wasn't all about that. It was rhetoric. It was, like I said, it was shock treatment for white America. Well, I knew that it was kind of serious. If the game turned into reality when I saw Fred Hampton's body. Yeah. When I walked through that house and saw those bullet holes in that blood laying on his mattress, yeah, it hit home then. I knew we were in the real world, and that there were people out there that was going to kill us. That was the bottom line. It was real. But before that time, it was, we used to walk around packed. I mean, I carried 2 guns every day for 7, 8 months. We used to walk in the University of Illinois Circle campus, man, on a speaking engagement at 2 o'clock in the evening.
All right. Also, side note, I don't know if y'all know who the Weather Underground was. They were an organization. They are also responsible for breaking into FBI offices and providing information from COINTELPRO. Um, SDS was the Students for Democratic Society. That's SDS. They were founded by Tom and Bill Ayers in 1960. Um, and they were radical. Like I say, if I need, that's why I don't do white allies. I only do white accomplices. These groups were composed of people who understood the assignment. They didn't need to be patted on the back. The Weather Underground broke into the FBI offices on their own. They turned the information they got over to the Panthers. That's how I want. That's the only people I allow in my circle. Um, I only allow accomplices into our circle because they were out here doing the work. They were doing the damn thing, and they didn't have to be patted on the back or taught every step of the way that oppression was wrong and this was wrong and that was wrong and oh, but I did. No, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If you're not capable of being a white panther, then you just somebody I know. At the end of the day, and I get every time I watch this, I just get angry to know that this man has these delusions, and it's like you're vacillating. You're the reason. You are the. That's why he killed himself. He knew it after that interview. That's why he killed himself the next day. Yeah, I was like, go play in traffic. Go play in traffic. He knew. And a lot of this information came out that was part of COINTELPRO. The FBI kept records. They kept records. So the part he just blatantly lies about, it's like it's in the record. The FBI records. You're a part of them, guy. Though I had been to Master's house and I held Little Master and I ate at Master's table. Negro, please. You were a tool. You are a tool. And every snitch that works for the system is nothing more than a tool. I could have been at the house. You couldn't have been at the house because you knew the raid was coming. That's why you left. I could have fell asleep there and I shut up. How do you tell this story and then try to make yourself out to be the victim? Fred Hampton is dead. And when he called him Frank, I wanted to travel back in time and just start beating on him at that interview. Narcissistic, traitorous. And that's what I don't think people understand the depth of what I be talking about when I say I don't. Rocket Raccoons get no play. When I put the standard up there for people that want to be accomplices to this movement, and I raise the bar because anything less gets us killed. As a as I proudly drink cocktails at black owned business in Hawaii. What's up? Do you understand? That's why the bar is set so high. That's why I don't let everybody in. Because not only they will get us killed, they will get us killed. That's why I don't argue with people about philosophy of what we need to do to move. I just move. And if you're not moving that way, you're a danger to me. You're a danger to the community. You're a danger to this movement because moderates sell out movements. I'm leery. Yeah, I'm leery. And it's not even paranoia. People don't realize you don't have to, it's not paranoia. We have a history. We have history. I'm gonna tell you, if I don't feel it, I don't do it. If I don't feel you, I don't care what you have done, what you say, you're not getting in. You're not getting in. If you're not moving with me, then you're a danger to me for real. Right. If you are just sitting back and waiting, you're a danger because that means you will sell me out too. You will sell us out. If you got to be convinced to stand against injustice, you are not on. We're not on the same side. You're not on the same side. I don't know, Charlotte, if I'm saying it that way. It's I trust. See, I trust people to be who they are. I trust everybody to be who they are. I think the problem is we think trust means that people are going. I trust snakes to be snakes. I don't expect a snake to be anything else. I trust the snake to be a snake. I think we have conflated trust with the concept of loyalty. I trust people to be who they are. If you are loyal, I trust you to be loyal. But everybody, even nephew would tell you, it's like until you get there, it's hell. It is hell because I have studied history and I realize that our the only trust that matters is someone's loyalty. That's it. That's it. And don't get me wrong, I do have loyal people. I have loyalty. There are people. It's like I have no. I don't. I go into a room and have to watch my back because I know they're watching the six. I got the 12. I got another person on three, another person on nine, and several people in between. And I know that. But just in general, see, I think we have to understand that there's different circles. There are the circles that we allow to get close to us, and then there's the circles that, yes, you're doing the work, and I'm not going to knock you for doing the work, but I'm also not inviting you over to my dinner house because you move a little shady when it comes to the work. Not the work. I won't put it that way. I just don't trust you. I don't trust that you can will not break. I don't trust people who take breaks. I tell you, when somebody tell me I got to take a break from all this, I instantly put you in another circle because I don't get a break. I remember when I first came across your live. I've been fascinated ever since. I am humbled and honored. I'm standing outside the waste cop stop. That's it. That's it. I'm not going to say I don't trust people because that would mean I didn't trust myself. I know there are people worthy of my trust and my loyalty because I am worthy of my trust and my loyalty. When I hear people say I don't trust anybody, the first thing I hear them say is I don't trust myself. I can understand trusting few, but when you say you don't trust anybody, that means you don't trust yourself. So you don't believe yourself is worthy of trust. So then why should I? Why should I? Loyalty is what has gotten me. Loyalty was a woven part of my upbringing. I had loyal gangsters. I know people don't understand. They talk about, because they've been jaded by programs that talk about the black community. But yeah, my brothers and sisters in the streets that were loyal are the reason I'm still alive today. I remember when I saw a video of yours and became fascinated and made up my mind to follow you. And I am humbled and honored, and I will always, I'm going to tell you something. I will always honor that too. Because you also know that just because people are loyal or trust me, I'm not marching us up Hamburger Hill just to prove that you will follow me. We do things strategically, and I'm trying to get everybody home. Right, to that is, I'm trying to get everybody home. I'm not saying we're not going on suicide missions. No, we've had enough of those. If I can't be a good statistician and tactician to get us home, then I need to find another way to do it because we've sacrificed too many of us and for nothing, just to have monuments. I'm not trying to have monuments. I'm trying to have liberation. I'm trying to have the people who are fighting with me to get to that point where they enjoy that liberation, not us having flowery speeches or talking about, well, so and so did the good fight. No, no. See, that's what I mean. Everybody was, yes, we will die for it, but that's a last option because we're going to figure out how do we live to enjoy it? How do we live to embrace what we're fighting for? We should not have a mentality going into it that I'm going to die. No, I have the mentality in it that I'm going to kill everybody I need to kill to get us through it. That's my mentality. I don't have the mentality thinking I'm going to die. I have the mentality that I'm going to commit homicide to make sure we get to where we need to be. Trying to make change. Yeah. And that's what we need to embrace. If you are not embracing that, yeah, I got it. Right. If you're not embracing that philosophy fully, then no. Because then I get with people and they think it's some kind of noble way to blow up everybody in the house just to say, yes, we took a couple out. No, I can take a couple out from a water tower. Why do we always get these I don't even know what to call these people that are appointed. We allow the creator to point leaders, and they always talking about yes, we'll die for it. That's what Master wants. Master don't care if you die. Master does not want you to live. Master does not want you to live. If I'm gonna do sacrifices, I'm going to. I know if I say this, it's gonna be like, oh, he a terrorist. No, I'm going to yeah, I'm wrapping the vest on somebody else that looks like that. I'm gonna wrap the vest on the traitor and send them out. Right, Steve? Because people don't realize how easy it is to die for something. It's easy. I don't even know if my sacrifice mattered. Oh, love the claws. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the Panther Claw. I love that Panther Claw. And to remember that, yes, I'm going to do a video. I know I haven't done one late, but I'm in the last week of raising money for our trip to um, to Selma to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. You know, the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday and the 60th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. of El Haj Malik Shabazz. This is the 60th anniversary for all that. 1965 was a big year, just like 1967 was, the year I was born. So, yeah, these are commemorations. So, if you would like to, you can either hit the Cash App up or you can hit the GoFundMe page up. I'll post a video. Like I say, I'm gonna turn the cash out. I mean, I'm gonna turn the GoFundMe off probably by the first or the second of the month because if I don't have it by the end, we won't get it in time. So we're gonna make sure we get it. Um, any help would be greatly appreciated. I'm thanking you in advance. If you can, don't. I'm not asking anybody to bend over. I'm not. If you can, please do. If you can't, hey, semi positive university energy. And when we get down there, me and nephew, we're gonna do the damn thing. If there's a 60th commemoration of this one and it's called another Bloody Sunday, understand we did it. We did it. We're gonna be in Alabama. I'm gonna be in Selma, um, and I'm be looking for trouble. Yeah, I'm looking for trouble. So, thank you, Charlotte. Thank you. So thank you all for joining me tonight. We'll get to some movies. Nephew got to work Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to be paying late night movies while he at work because that's what we do. So join us tomorrow. I'll come live for a little while and then we'll go over to Twitch and we'll just watch a movie. I do have um I think it's a movie called The Gorge I want to watch for all of y'all who like horror movies. I have several horror movies, and then I have Flight Risk I want to watch, and then I should have one of those days with Kiki Palmer and SZA. So we out of here, and thank you for joining us, and we will see you all. Hey, your Rain, you said you gonna get some rest so you can hang out. So cool. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll go live first here, and then we'll transition over to Aloha. We'll transition over to Twitch. I would play them on TikTok, but I think it's better for people to be able to stream it to their Twitch so they can play it on their television. And plus, you know,